As most of you know by now, Scion is dead, but that didn't mean all of its vehicles died with it. For 2017, the Toyota brand absorbs the new IA, calling it the Yaris IA, even though this Mazda-built vehicle shares no common components with the Toyota-built Yaris hatch. Regardless of the name change, let's see how this model stacks up in the subcompact marketplace. We would like to specially thank Toyota on Nicholasville for allowing us to come out and film this review. If you would like to check out their dealership and massive inventory of all the Toyota models, a link to their website has been provided in the video description. Before we begin, I just want to mention that this car is mono-spec, meaning that what you see here is what you get. The IA comes with Mazda's standard key fob. It's long and slender, but it has a nice weight to it. It has keyless entry, but not smart key access. Let's go ahead and pop the hood. Since this vehicle is essentially a Mazda 2, it also shares its powertrain with that model. Under the hood you'll find a tiny 1.5-liter four-cylinder, which produces 106 horsepower and 103 pound-feet of torque. The only two things that you can choose on an IA is the exterior color and whether you want a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic transmission. The fuel economies vary depending on which of those you choose. The manual achieves 30 city, 39 highway, 34 combined, while the automatic gains 1 mile per gallon combined at 32 city, 40 highway, 35 combined. Both of those are less than last year thanks to the new 2017 EPA testing. Anyways, let's check out the exterior of the vehicle. Most of the exterior sheet metal comes from the Mazda 2 sedan, but there are some changes. The front end is totally different, with a scowl replacing the Mazda smiley face. It is essentially a trapezoid with a chrome outlining. Moving over to the headlights, you have a simple halogen beam setup, which is expected on a car this cheap. There is an aggressive body line that goes around the grille as well. This is the only wheel you get. It is a 16-inch alloy wheel with 10 spokes. The front brakes are 12-inch ventilated disc and the rears are drums. The tires are all seasons. The mirrors are power adjusting and have a built-in turn signal indicator. They are not heated, however. When you view it from the side, you really get a sense of how small it is. The actual length is 172 inches, which is over 10 inches shorter than the Corolla, but a whopping 17 inches longer than the Yaris hatchback. The IA hasn't been safety tested yet, but you do get an automatic pre-collision braking system as standard equipment. That said, the Yaris hatchback also gets a pre-collision braking system, plus lane departure alert and auto high beams. So that's something to keep in mind if you are choosing between the sedan and the hatchback. The rest of the bodywork is pure Mazda, which isn't a bad thing. On the back there is no Yaris badging, only IA. The taillights have the typical squinty Mazda look. They aren't LED or anything. Toyota does throw in a chrome exhaust to help give a more premium look. The IA comes with a super tiny 11.6 gallon fuel tank. Despite that, both fuel ranges are pretty decent at 394 miles for the manual and 406 miles for the automatic. Now let's check out the value-packed interior. Inside the Yaris IA, every model gets this blue and black fabric interior, regardless of exterior color choice. The door trim has a padded place for your elbow, and some fabric material above that. The rest is hard touch. The driver's window is auto up-down, and your power mirror controls. The driver's seat is 6-way manually adjusting. The fabric's a little scratchy, but the blue stitching on the bolsters looks nice. When you first get in, you'll notice that A, the inside is pretty spacious, and B, the inside looks pretty nice. The materials are more solid than what you expect at this price point. You also have this leather strip here which gives the cabin some extra class. The fit and finish in here is excellent, which is a problem area for some of the competitors. Even though it doesn't have smart entry, it does still get push-button ignition. Just push in the clutch and the brake to start. The gauges kind of look like a motorcycle. You have a small tachometer on the left, and a tiny multifunction display on the right. Every IA has electric power steering. The steering wheel is not leather, but it does have some fake carbon fiber trim. You have most of the controls on this side, but the standard cruise control is on the other side. All of the switchgear is Mazda, so it may not be what you're used to. The steering wheel is tilt and telescoping. Cars this small usually don't have much storage, and this one is no exception. For one, there is no armrest, so all you get is this tiny space to stick stuff. There is a grippy storage area up here for your phone. There are 2 USBs and a 12-volt outlet. Other than that, the only place to stick things is in the door. Right here is where you control all of the media functions, including the volume. The sound system has 6 speakers, and it sounds surprisingly good. I've been in more expensive vehicles which have worse sound systems for sure. The infotainment can be controlled via this knob, or you can just use the touchscreen. We of course have the 6-speed manual transmission. The climate controls are just your regular manual adjusting. The knobs are big and high quality and easy to use. Now that brings us to the premium looking Mazda infotainment system. Let's take a quick look at its functionality. This is the home screen, which is broken into 5 sections. In the first section you have several applications like HD traffic, which is free for life. Next we will go into entertainment. In here you can play, pause, and skip songs being streamed through the standard Bluetooth. And like I said, you can touch it if you want to. And these are all the audio sources you can choose between. In communication, you can go through your synced contacts, dial numbers, and even view incoming text messages. That's all we are going to look at in this video. But if you want a more detailed look at the Mazda Connect system, then check out our dedicated tech help video. A link is provided in the video description. There is a nice sunglass holder. You cannot get a moonroof, by the way. Well, overall the interior is pretty nice. The materials are better than I expected, and the technology in here is really good. It definitely has great bang for the buck. Now let's check out the rest of the vehicle. The back seats are as small as you would expect. There is only 34.4 inches of rear legroom and 36.8 inches of headroom. This is less than the Honda Fit, but more than the Ford Fiesta. The door trim is the same in the rear. The driver's seat is adjusted to my height, and I don't feel too claustrophobic. The foot space is pretty good too. On this side I have the seat adjusted all the way back, and it feels more like a coupe than a sedan. There is a map pocket. You also have this little storage area. One thing to be aware of is that there are no cup holders in the back seat at all. It's probably because there's no armrest that folds down. The headrests are adjustable. The headliner is soft and you have a coat hook. You can open up the trunk by pressing this button on the fob. As you can see, the trunk is actually pretty good sized. It is 13.5 cubic feet, which is bigger than the Fiesta sedan. The opening is also very wide, and you can fold the seats. Overall, the back seats are not bad. You probably won't want to travel very far back there, but that can be said about every car in this class. A pricing breakdown will be at the end of the video. The passenger seat is 4-way manually adjusting. The vents in this car are actually pretty cool looking. The glove box is impressively big. There isn't any dampening or illumination, however. Well guys, we hope you enjoyed our detailed look at the 2017 Toyota Yaris IA. Pricing information is coming up next, and we hope you will join us again as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.